Pete Hegseth, I mentioned I had a chance to catch up with him a little on Friday, but he's been getting a lot of stuff done for our national security. And one of the things President Trump initially said was that he wanted to reassert control of the Panama Canal. Pete Hegseth making a ton of progress on that front. Taking a listen to what he has to say on what they're doing down there.
Well, President Trump said in his State of the Union address, China has too much influence over the Panama Canal and America's going to take it back. And that's exactly what I was charged to do, what we're continuing to do. Chinese influence cannot control our own backyard, especially a critical waterway, key terrain like the Panama Canal. You mentioned 40% of ships are U.S. ships. 75% are going to or from a port. So we were able to secure two historic agreements, one with the Panama Canal Authority, that our ships, our military vessels and auxiliary vessels will travel first and free through that Panama Canal. And then we also signed a memorandum of understanding with the defense secretary over there and the president that established a robust and growing U.S. presence, right? You need to secure that key terrain. So Fort Sherman will reopen jointly with the Panamanians, a jungle school, and we're going to have a larger U.S. presence at the invitation of Panama, working with them to keep the communist Chinese out. If we can't use that waterway in a key contingency, then China has an advantage. Other presidents have allowed us, we've been sort of asleep at the wheel. President Trump has said we need to be serious about our own backyard. That includes a place like the Panama Canal. And I want to thank President Molino, a pro-Trump, pro-America president of Panama, who's sticking his neck out against communists whose influence was real there, Maria. We could see it. You could feel it. The communist Chinese want to control politicians. They're building infrastructure projects. They want to surveil. They want to take that canal. President Trump says, not on our watch, and we're fighting back.
Do you understand that, though? Nobody was talking about this issue. The Panama Canal, where did this come from? Had President Trump not brought up the Panama Canal, it wouldn't have been an issue. And you heard Secretary Hegseth there. We are now first and free. Our ships go through first. We kind of cut the line and they go through free. The Chinese want to control it. It's a choke point. It is a critical choke point. You can't get from one ocean to the other without going through all of South America and around at the bottom. This still doesn't get the attention it deserves. What a huge win for us. And it blows my mind sometimes because these issues that President Trump is championing, and everyone said, oh, why is he going after Panama? Da, da, da. Because it's critical to our national and economic security. Commercial ships, military ships, they can't get through if China controls both sides. Our military presence down there will be huge. And I commend Secretary Hegseth for what he has accomplished on President Trump's leadership and foresight. But trust me, no one else even mentioned this. Have you heard anyone talk about the Panama Canal and its strategic importance? No. But he's also not just done there. Secretary Hegseth is also dealing with Iran. Take a look.
We've had direct talks yesterday. They began in the past. It's been indirect talks with a mediator. But there's Steve Witkoff meeting with the foreign minister of Iran. What can you tell us?
Well, I can tell you that President Trump is dead serious on this issue. He's dead serious that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. He's said that for 20 years. He's been consistent. That is clear. He's dead serious that he wants it done at the negotiating table. He wants it done peacefully. Yeah. And that's why he's going straight to these talks. He set that deadline. These were productive talks yesterday. I don't want to get ahead of our skis. Steve Witkoff does a fantastic job, but it was a good step, and they're going to go at it again on Saturday. But he's also dead serious that if we can't figure this out at the negotiating table, then there are other options, to include my department, to ensure that Iran never has a nuclear bomb. We hope we never get there. We really do, Maria. But what we're doing with the Houthis and what we're doing in the region, we've shown a capability to go far, to go deep, and to go big. And again, we don't want to do that. But if we have to, we will, to prevent the nuclear bomb in Iran's hand.
Unbelievable. Again, another issue. I mean, think about this. Nuclear weapons in the hands of Iran. And here we are addressing it. The Biden administration, the Obama administration gave them pallets of money. Just remind yourself, when the Iranians chant death to Israel, which you hear all the time, you know what else they're chanting? Death to America. Do you really think these guys want a deal? Do you? I don't. And the Biden administration and the Obama administration before it thought, hey, maybe if we give them pallets of cash, that they'll stop trying to acquire a nuclear weapon. Oh my gosh. That explains a lot about their mentality and how they approached our national security. But between the Panama Canal and Iran and so many other things, it's just amazing what's getting done. All right. This brings me to the other thing I wanted to address with you guys. Over the weekend, Bill Maher played a clip, or he played several, and I put the whole thing on my social media, but I only have time for like a 1-minute clip that came towards the end of what Maher said in this 13-minute clip. And I want to play that for you because it's worth watching the whole 12-minute clip. Okay, don't get me wrong, but there's only so much I can play. The bottom line is this. Maher's been very critical. And I was actually critical of Kid Rock bringing Maher because I don't know why he's trying to win one person over. But I get it now, to some degree. This is Maher telling him at the end how comfortable he felt around him. Play a clip of that.
Does Trump want respect? Of course. Who doesn't? My friend said to me, what are you going to wear to the White House? I said, I don't know, but I'm not going to dress like Zelensky. I'll tell you that. But, okay. Just for starters, he laughs. I'd never seen him laugh in public, but he does, including at himself. And it's not fake. Believe me, as a comedian of 40 years, I know a fake laugh when I hear it. And I thank you for them. No. But, okay, example. In the Oval Office, he was showing me the portraits of presidents, and he pointed to Reagan and said, in all seriousness, you know, the best thing about him, his hair. I said, well, there was also that whole bringing down communism thing.
All right. The bottom line is what I've been saying for a long time. Trump one-on-one, you can't beat it. There's a reason he wants to meet all these dictators, and the media will never get that. Putin, Kim Jong-un, Xi. Because one-on-one in a room with President Trump, he wins every time. He knows that. He's funny, endearing, gracious, and Maher found that out this weekend. There's one point at the end of his clip where he says, you know, I voted for Obama, I voted for Hillary, I could have never had the conversation with them that I had with him. That's important to understand. Trump one-on-one, there's nothing else like it. And that's what most of the world will never have the ability to fully see. And that's where the media continues to get him wrong. And I'm glad that Bill Maher had that opportunity, even though I was a skeptic at the beginning, because he came out telling people to a very wide audience why it's not what he thinks. So I would encourage you to go watch the entire thing. I put it up on social media, on Instagram. I put it on my Twitter or X. You can go watch the full 13 minutes, and it's worth it because it dispels the myth that so many people have of President Trump, and it's something that I've always tried to tell people that it's just not true.
Well, if you enjoyed this content, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get more.